Good evening, witches, and welcome to week 8 of the Beginner Witch series. Tonight, we're going to be talking about magical properties of everyday items, and this is week 2, where we're going to talk about the actual items. Last week was theory, so if you missed that, be sure to watch it on YouTube, and we will see you in just a moment. Good evening, witches and friends. Hi. We're so happy you're here with us again this week. We are in week 8 of the Beginner Witch series. This is a continuation or part 2 of the magical properties of everyday items. Last week we talked about theory. This week we're going to get into the actual items. So we have an entire table full of things that in the last 20 minutes we have gone around the house just pulling things that we could find. So what's the magical properties of this? We have a whole array. So while you have a minute, you might look around your room and see what are the everyday items in your room that might have magical properties, and gather them, and you can put those in the chat and tell us what they are as we get started. Okay, and without further ado, it is
already
7:05, and we're going to get started.
Yes, lots to talk about tonight.
Lots to talk about. So last week we talked about theory, as I already mentioned. This week we're going to continue on the subject of magical properties of everyday items related to ingredients in spells, for spells, your home decor, what's in your kitchen, and what you put in your body. These are all called correspondences. First thing to know, you have power. You have a power hand. Jamie, you want to tell us what that is?
Okay, you may have read about this if you have any newer witch books, but there's a dominant hand that we work with that we feel things better with, and you can often say that you intuit stuff more. So when you go to grab something or touch something, feel something, that's the hand that you'll do. If you use a wand, like doing your spells with or waving. So whatever you do, and you could be ambidextrous. That's not, I like to do, when I move my body, it's everything. And I don't use a wand for my spells. So I don't really have a power hand in my mind, but I know that if I'm going to do something, close a bottle, it is my right hand because I'm right-handed. Those things can coincide, but don't have to. So that's one of the things that they talk about first with energy coming in and then flowing out of our body. Our energy circuits is figuring out your dominant hand. It's something for you to research on your own, but we did want to bring it up as a little note to when you're working with things that have magical properties.
Okay, another thing you might not think about is the jewelry that you wear on your fingers, around your neck, in your ears, about the magical properties of the jewelry. Tonight, I'm wearing crescent moon earrings to go with my crescent moon shirt. So that's whole vibe for me. Jamie's also got some witchy earrings on.
I have stones on, so where you place stuff, all of this has significance, and there's many resources, so we can't go over everything and what it means, but understand that as you place these things on your body, you can find out more about what you're doing and what energy you're bringing in with the jewelry color that you're wearing, whether it's silver, gold, or another metal, stones that you might have in them, shapes, designs. And this way you can be more intentional with the stuff that you pick out, so that you know, I always say, like, do it with intention, say your intentions, that dressing yourself with colors, putting on jewelry, all of that works into what energy you're bringing into your life or not bringing into your life. It's a good thing to know.
So when you say that, I think about like chokers being close to your throat chakra, necklaces being close to your heart chakra. A belt with jewels on it, perhaps being close to your sacral chakra or your root chakra. Anklets, I don't know, that's not really a part of your body, but your wrist. Jamie's got like a selection of different types of crystal bracelets.
I love them.
And just so you guys know, gold and silver both hold different energies. So the silver that you wear is representation of the moon, and gold is representation of the sun, which we know is, you know, that's the masculine and the feminine energies. So you can also play with it that way as well.
Okay, so the other thing is look around, and we talked about this a little bit last week. So when it comes to colors, we can refer to the chakra, we can refer to a chakra grid or chart, which you can find all over the internet. to see the different color pattern, the colors starting from your third eye, which is purple. Well, actually starting from your root chakra, which is red, to your third eye, which is purple. And each one of these colors, if you look around your house or in your wardrobe, or even just your personal preferences, not what color is your favorite, but what color is missing. It might tell you something about where you are on your journey, what you could be avoiding. It may be an area of your life that you don't want to deal with, or it could be an area of your life where that's all you're dealing with. For a long time, I had a lot of red around me, and I never put this together until years later. But during that time when red was like my favorite color and everything in the house was red, the furniture was red, the walls weren't red, but just about everything else was red. And this was during a time in my life when I was struggling as a single mom, working 2 jobs, trying to feed my kids. And so now that I know the correlation between red and the root chakra, which is your basic needs, your security, food, or just your very basic needs, housing, I realized there was a connection there between my love of red and what I was going through in my life. So look around your own life, in your own closet, in your own home, and observe and take note. What do you see? What do you not see? All right. Do we want to go through? So we have look around us and see what's in the room. When do we want to go over what we have accumulated here from all over my house?
Well, I think it would be beneficial to go through the 4 elements.
Okay.
And then to do it. What's on the next page over?
Okay.
Stephen, I love that you have an owl pendant. That's
crystals.
awesome. A piece of amber.
We just posted owls on my personal Instagram
Yeah.
the other day. Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you put it on yours?
Yeah.
We have owls nesting at the house right now, which is just amazing.
Little
to watch.
baby screech owls.
They're so little. Screech owls are like so tiny, but they're amazing.
They're so adorable.
So the way that I think about correspondences, you guys, this is probably where witchcraft gets really heavy in how you make things work, what systems you use, if you're going to make your own spell or wire things in certain spells, and just how the whole thing works. The correspondences, which is basically what your grimoire is made of. It's a book of correspondences. And in your book of shadows is your spells and things that you've worked with, that you've liked, that have worked, or sometimes that don't. But it all comes down to what we're using in our magic and our workings that we feel connected to, that we have a familiarization with, or that we're drawn to even. And I feel like, and I haven't, if I'm wrong, please tell me. If you guys think of anything, I would love to know, because in my 25 years of doing this, I really narrowed it down that everything that we work with can be put into the 4 elements, or 5 if you're doing spirit, but earth, air, water, fire. I feel like every single correspondence can connect with one of those things. So if you just learn the basics of the 4 elements and their properties, like what do we use earth elements for, what are they, how to find them, air, water, fire, whatever it is, that as you grow your knowledge, everything becomes easier, because that's kind of like the base thing that other stuff is built off of. So we're going to go over the 4 elements and what you will see around your house, in your home, your clothes, whatever, that are related to earth, air, fire, and water. And then we do have 10 workhorse crystals that we're going to go into afterwards. But after we do these 4 elements and describing everything in them, and you look around your house, see if there's something that you're like, well, what element would that fit into? Let us know, because we want to know.
Do a little show and tell.
Share
And tell. We want to see what you guys
share
have,
and tell.
represents for you. Not everything is going to be the same for everybody, and I genuinely believe that whatever it feels like it is for you, that's what it is.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if another witch categorized it as earth or whatnot. Whatever it is to you, that's exactly what it is.
Agree. Kat and I have talked about it before that yellow represents air in a lot of the magic books and stuff, and it just does not compute with me. Yellow is not air in my mind, and so it isn't. It doesn't matter who writes it in what book. When
Yeah.
I use air symbols, it's not yellow ever.
Ever.
So that's one big difference. And it's not like I've had anything, catastrophic happen because I didn't use yellow as air. It is just what you personally experience. So after we go through the 4 elements, we're going to go through this table that has a plethora of random items from around the house. I mean, really, really random to show you guys how we would categorize it or talk about it.
Yeah, because sometimes last minute when you're doing stuff, you will use the most random objects in your house for what you're looking to do.
To get things done.
Yes.
I think
Random
another
things.
thing, well, like Jamie said, a plethora is right, and it's all kind, it's stuff from my junk drawer, from my spice cabinet, from the kitchen cabinets, and so when you see that, it might give you ideas, ideas might come to you, it's like, oh my gosh, I never thought of what
Using this.
Yeah.
using this, that using this could mean. So if you think of something as we show you these things, and we don't mention like what they're for, because we're not going to mention everything, of course, please feel free to add to the chat. We'd love to hear from you. All right. So earth magic, a general earth magic. So I'm going to list some things, and I always talk really fast. So I'm going to try to really slow
it
down.
so you can hear it.
Earth magic, plants, stones, animal bones, herbs, moss, dirt, earth colors, browns and greens. In earth magic, we seek physical manifestations, money, property, people, and animals. How was that?
I think that was great.
Is that slow?
I think that
Was
was
slow
great.
enough for everybody? If I spoke too fast, please let me know,
No, it's
and I will
because
slow down.
those things are big. Like, why do we work with earth? Why do we use earth stuff? What is the thing? And when Kat says we seek physical manifestations, that's a good representation of when you use earth elements, you're trying to bring something in. We're going to talk about this later with stones, how some are absorbers and others are amplifiers, but the elements do this as well. That was really good.
And another thing that I think is important here is that you don't have to go out and buy things. As a new witch, you don't need to run to the store and buy a bunch of stuff.
No.
You probably have all the things that you need if you get creative and thinking about it, or just sort of think outside the box. You can probably find an element for an item for each one of these elements in your house that you could work a spell with.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. If we go back to the origins of all of this, remember that healers and witches back in the day, they didn't go to stores and grab stuff and have all this elaborate, fancy
They weren't
shit.
getting lapis lazuli from India very often.
And they weren't going to Dollar General either.
India?
Afghanistan.
Okay.
But lapis lazuli in a couple countries, but
Yeah.
Afghanistan's like the main one.
I mean, not very often they would get
No.
those things. So yeah.
It's so when we think about witchcraft at its core, it's really the craft of understanding your environment and using that to your ability. There are other meetings that we go into where it's witchcraft just from your specific area. There are lots of trees we don't have, they're mentioned in books. I'm like, that's irrelevant to me because it doesn't grow in my area. And as a witch in Florida, I try to use things because there always are the same properties in a different plant that grows in your area. So be mindful of like the regional difference in witchcraft and what herbs, trees, plants, sticks, pine cone nuts, whatever that we use, pine cone nuts that are going to be different. Yeah. So when a pine cone flowers, it has tiny little nuts inside of it that turn into, yeah.
Well,
A
yeah,
pine
what
cone
do you
nut.
do in the dead of winter if you want to do a spell and there are no fresh flowers or anything to be found? You got to get creative.
Yeah.
So there's lots of things that you can use to replace something else or take the place of it.
The more known thing, the thing that's written about in all the books. That's one of the problems with the books that I have is they list like 20 herbs, but okay, you have to buy all of them online. I'm like, well, that's not very helpful. What are you gonna do?
You can't find mugwort in the spice aisle at Publix.
Or a regular grocery store. Yeah.
Okay, so general water magic. Any water, cups, bowls, chalice, shells and ocean items, watercolors like blue, water and magic. We seek healing and emotional help, dream work, psychic abilities, and divination. Those are the types of spells that you would be doing or the type of magic you would be doing with water elements.
Yeah,
Emotional
the
help,
intentions.
dream work, psychic abilities, and divination. And there's probably more, but we're not going to list every single thing that there is. General air magic.
This is a big one.
All right.
I feel like it's the most misunderstood. Or at least talked about maybe.
Well, and I think that's because it's kind of in the ether. It's thoughts and spiritual and
Less
and
physical.
space cleansing. So it's not of our physical world, which we are in a physical world. That's what we're experiencing. So it's a little harder to grasp. I agree with you.
Mhm.
And I think that's why we maybe struggle with air is this, the color for air is yellow. I'm like, no, I
Whose
don't.
air is yellow?
That must
Right,
be
get
some
that
bad
checked out.
breath.
Might need a filter in your house.
No, well, when I first read that, I just was I was like, no, they're wrong.
They're like,
And-
yeah, it's close to white.
Right, they're like, no, white is something else. But for me, growing up in the Midwest, yellow as a color in nature, maybe sunflowers, but really it made me think of like pea snow. Like that's what I was
I
like,
thought you were
no.
gonna say corn growing up in the Midwest.
I don't see corn. We lived in the city.
I
but
know, but
We had sunflowers though.
we did have
But-
sunflowers.
It reminded me of yellow snow. So that was my big no. I was like, I don't get it.
So somebody came up with these correspondences and these color associations or correspondences. We need to go talk to them, so.
But this is why we're getting this knowledge secondhand so you can make your own. You do not have to follow somebody else's suggestions or rules, not even ours. You make your own practice, but we're giving you helpful tips and stuff that should feel right. But if it doesn't, then don't make your own with it. It's always about making your own practice.
Okay, general air magic,
The air.
smoke,
Mm.
feathers, words that we speak or write, songs,
Music, right? I mean, music in
oh
general.
gosh, yes. Well, in that case, it's poetry, music, literature,
Mhm.
whatever.
All the things.
All the things. Breath, wind,
And
storms, wands, communication tools like a
Mhm.
phone.
don't give away my item on the table.
Well, I just realized why your phone is there.
Yeah. She's like, you need to move your phone from the table. I was like, no, that's one of my things.
Okay, air colors, yellow and white,
Or
And-
whatever you think.
or whatever you see as air colors. In air magic, we seek new thoughts, spiritual health, and space cleansing, among probably other things, but
Yeah.
those are pretty common. All right, fire magic. Fires of any kind, candles, metal,
Metal is fire.
fire colors like red and orange. In fire magic, we seek transformation, quick actions, protection, and banishing.
The only other one I'd add to that is change. I'm surprised I don't have that listed in
Well,
there.
transformation is change.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess it's the same. Change really transformation and change. Do you think those two words are always interchangeable or is it?
No, but I
Change,
think
yeah.
transformation can be changed. I mean,
Yeah.
I think they.
You
can-
definitely change in a transformation, but just change from one thing to another isn't always a transformation, I guess.
It's probably true.
It's like all toads are frogs, but not all frogs are toads, right? It's like that.
I didn't sign up to make my brain work this hard, okay?
Well, that's just the way it is. So transformation and change with anything fire magic or the fire elements, that's your intention to bring about within that workings.
Okay,
Oh man,
all right, so
we're about to open up
Dun, dun, dun.
lots and lots of, I'm just gonna hand things and whoever item it is, you guys have to take it and then describe it, okay? You guys
All
ready
right.
for this? This is
Okay.
our share and tell.
too bad we can't, I took a picture actually of the whole entire
Where's
thing
your
that we have
picture?
here. It's just on my phone. I didn't have time to upload it, sorry.
All right, don't kill anybody with a reflection. It
All
might
right.
shine.
What the heck just happened?
No, that was
Okay.
me.
All right, so I don't wanna,
Do too much of a
yeah, I'm
reflection.
worried about a reflection, but this is a mirror.
And what's
So-
it represent for you?
Well, I happen to know that mirrors, oh my gosh,
Reflect?
what's the word?
Oh,
No, they magnify things, they
Illuminate.
illuminate or whatever, so,
Magnify.
yeah, so they are, well, help me. Oh, gosh. What's a mirror?
a mirror is a water element. So mirrors are reflective properties, and when we get into the water element, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at reflecting and seeing ourselves back. Before mirrors were invented, because they were invented, the only way we knew what we looked like is if we found a body of water flat enough and clear enough to reflect ourselves back. So it is about that deep internal reflection. It can be dream work, interpretation. It can be the psyche even, but that's what mirrors represent.
Well, actually, so thank you for sharing that, because I was sort
I
of,
sparked.
I was
something.
on the spot. I was put on the spot there and I wasn't quite prepared. This is what happens when you get called first in class and you're not quite ready.
I don't-
Um, But what mirrors are for me is amplification. So
Ah,
that's what
amplification.
mirrors can amplify. So I have a mirror in my room, in my love wall that I can put a spell on, and I feel like for me, it's amplification, because if you have many mirrors, you see all those reflections of all.
Yeah.
So amplification is another thing that I would say mirrors represent.
All right, in feng shui, you guys, mirrors, little tiny mirrors are used to move energy around the room. If you have like a weird angle or a wall or a beam that really isn't conducive for energy flow, there's these little tiny like tile mirrors that you can place on something above where you don't have to see it, but that's a trick to help energy flow through a space that feels very stuck because you can't move your walls. So as an amplifier, I mean, it does move energy around in feng shui as well. Good one. Okay. Is this you too?
This is me too.
It's
This
a-
was Jolene's suggestion. Do you want to talk
Yeah.
about this?
So the twine and what was the other?
Was it skull?
No,
Eggshells?
no.
The
other
binding, the
Yeah.
the ice
Oh.
cubes.
The
Well, we have
super
some,
glue.
we have some,
Super glue.
we have some binding, some common items that you might use in a binding spell.
Correct.
So
So
we have
twine is obviously a very popular thing to
the
use.
ice cube tray.
It's cheap. You can easily get it pretty much anywhere. Any kind of string, it doesn't have to be twine, but yeah, anything that I want to do that represents binding or
Yeah, cutting somebody off.
yeah, I'm
Sounds
searching
very-
for my words that don't sound mean. Um,
Just get me with it.
Be yourself.
Just say the
Yeah.
words. Because if you're leaning towards binding anyways, you already know that you want to restrain, withhold somebody from your life, keep them separate. You're really trying to keep them away from you, like keep their energy away from your energy. That's what binding and freezing is really about.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a separation thing, but it's stopping them from intruding on your space.
Or other people's.
So
Other people's, yeah.
this is an ice cube tray, and I know I've read of like freezing spells
Mhm.
where you like put something in the ice cubes and you freeze it. Like maybe you write something on I don't know if you make a sigil. I've read numerous things about freezing spells where you put it in an ice cube, and so that's what this represents. And then the other thing I pulled out of the junk drawer is some super glue, although this is actually
Gorilla glue.
super glue precise, y'all. So this is Gorilla Glue. But again, for things that you really want to stick, if you will, you can use it or bind. So there's
Gorilla glue strength.
yeah.
And a little twine is all you need.
Okay.
And an ice cube.
I think we may have chosen two similar items. Is that salt for you?
This is actually salt that I put under the blue moon of October 31st, 2020. So we had a blue moon on that date, 10/31/20. Blue moon is the second full moon in the month. So I put out salt and I charge this little container of salt under that blue moon. So that's what this is. But I also, this is earth, and it could represent protection. And then I just went to the cabinet and pulled out from the cabinet,
salt.
so just regular salt. So this was charged under a moon, and that's just out of my cabinet.
A very special moon at that. Hello.
A
how-
special moon, yeah,
Properties of it.
yeah.
So things under, we're not getting into moon, lunar, or planetary properties in this one. We get into moon magic. I almost think moon magic is next week, you guys. But with salt and earth element charged under moon being water, you think about what those two properties would mean for you. You know, some could say it creates mud. So mud is sticky, mud can mold things together. Mud is, you know, what is mud for you? If that's the earth and water element combined. But if it's just supercharged salt, it's like earth power that's been amplified by this rare occurrence of a moon. So those are things that as you create your properties list, as you create your correspondences, that you help give it its purpose. We set the intention for our items. It's not always finding it in a book or online. It is about what we think its purpose should be. So being able to feel comfortable with assigning an item that you choose its purpose is something that you learn over time, because I think that in the beginning we all want confirmation that we're doing it right. Skip that and say, here's what I'm telling this thing, and then don't look for what anybody else is doing, because that'll just make you feel like you're not doing it right.
Yeah.
That's the only way that research and books really hinder our growth. They stop you from being creative and doing stuff your own way, because they try to tell you a different way, and you would have thought of a better way that worked for you better. All right, now is a huge jar full of dried roses. Who's this
Well,
belong to?
that's mine. I just pulled it out. I've been saving them. You know, I got roses. I saved them. It's like, I'm gonna use them for some kind of a love spell at some point in time. I have them. They're secured, and they'll be there when I need them.
Also, I personally love dried flowers for any kind of bath rituals. So let's say it's a full moon, you want to do a self-love spell, bath ritual. You can use your dried roses for that. You know, throw a couple of pink rose quartz in there, you know, with some salt. So anything that represents love and healing, and do a healing bath.
Yeah,
So
I
that's what-
seem to remember you clogging your whole bathtub up with rose petals one time.
It wasn't the rose petals that clogged my drain, you guys. It was actually the rose oil that I used, which was so shocking, because I think I did like 3 or 4 drops in my bath of rose oil. And it was so awesome. Oh, wow, it smelled so good. My skin was so soft. I just felt so good. I almost died getting out of the tub. So please be careful if you do that. But yeah, the oil clogged my drain. And I'm digging rose petals out.
It created its own mat. Like,
These are the kind of things that you have to learn as you experiment with stuff in your own practice.
Yeah.
You'll learn what not to do.
Yeah.
yeah,
You don't want to deal with a mess.
you just keep trying it. Okay.
Coffee grounds.
That's still
Easy,
Okay.
quick.
just coffee grounds.
You can't see anything. It just looks like a black jar, but it smells amazing. It smells like fresh morning coffee.
It is. That's
Such
why
a coffee whore.
That's why it's in that container, so to stay fresh.
Yeah, it does smell really good.
Coffee grounds are a great property to use to speed things up a little bit, give it a little extra boost, you know. If you want it to work a little faster, maybe, or make somebody move faster in a decision, maybe a job, you want to speed up the process of getting that new house that you're looking for. Coffee grounds, easy, cheap, always there.
Yeah.
Should always be there. If you don't drink coffee. get
All
it.
right, so again, I went to my kitchen cabinet. These are red pepper flakes. So they're red, which is the color of, which is the element of fire. And they also, I would use them for anything that I wanted to happen quickly. So because the fire, you light a fire under it, it's transformation. So that's how I would use those. There's probably a lot of uses for red pepper flakes.
Spicy, if you want to get a little mean.
Or
Oh,
spicy if you want to spice up your love life. How about that?
Yeah,
red
yeah,
pepper
yeah.
flakes in the love
Yeah,
corner. Oh,
love, yeah. Don't use it for bad stuff, guys.
I know you pulled these.
Yeah, the eggshells.
So I kept eggshells. I have a jar. So do you witches collect how many have like a whole cabinet of collection stuff? Because I collected eggshells and just put them in a little jar, and I'm saving them for when
Rinse them, set them out to air dry, and then you can either keep them in chunks like this, or you can crush them up into a powder and use that as well. So what are the properties of the eggshells?
Well, I think that it's protective
Mhm.
because it protects the of course it protects what's inside the egg.
And breathe.
I also think that the eggshells could represent fertility
It does.
or prosperity because
Mhm.
because of what the egg represents itself.
Mhm.
So they could be used in a lot of different ways. But again, this is something that you probably have eggs in your house. You probably peel eggs once or twice a week, maybe, or once a month when you make deviled eggs for the family or something like that. But anyway, I like to keep those types of things so that when I want them, I have them. I have like a whole shelf of stuff like that.
Random things in jars.
Oh yeah.
That's I love somebody put in here hashtag witch problems.
Yes. Yes.
Running out of jars to keep your random shit. Yeah, like, all right, how many pickle jars, olive jars? Like, what? You have to start spray painting the tops to keep them all separate.
Yes.
Okay. Next.
Okay, so this is moon water that I made, and I happened to save it in a wine bottle that is called, the name of the
Seven
wine
Moons.
is 7 Moons, which I just thought it was so
Oh,
cool.
pretty.
So this is what moon water that I also charged on that blue moon night of 10/31/20. So that was a blue moon. So, and moon water can be used for so many things. At this point, I wouldn't say it's suitable for drinking, but it's certainly suitable for cleansing or probably a lot of other types of spells.
Dedications, you can add it to a bath. I mean, anywhere the water can go, but ingesting it needs to be purified water, which I don't think Kat did. And then making sure that whatever bottle you use, pouring, like there's videos out there, we don't have one, but making moon water in certain jars, you gotta make sure the bottle can't carry bacteria so that if you drink it later, it is safe to drink.
And you can do several different types of water. You can do purified, you can do rainwater, you can collect water from your local creek or your ocean or
I think here's the most powerful water for me anyway, is like storm water when it's lightning, like put a
Yes.
bowl out and capture some water when
Yes.
there's a major like raging storm out there with
Hur-
lightning and everything.
hurricane
Just think
water.
about how,
Not
just think of the
hurricane
power that is in that
Yes,
water.
absolutely.
Store that shit.
and then charge
save
it
it.
under the damn moon, girl.
Oh, we're getting deep now. I do have to say that while Hurricane Ian was going on, I knew the destruction it was causing here. And I was staying at somebody else's house, and I'm pretty sure they're highly Christian. And so I did nothing. And I kept thinking about all the missed opportunities of the hurricane water that I knew I was missing out on. And by the time I got back to my house, the flood water in the basement, that was disgusting. I was like, well, I'm not using that. Because we had, before the place behind us was a cow field.
Yeah.
So the water that actually came into my house was saturated with old manure, and it was really disgusting.
It's gross.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing.
It smelled like poo. It was not great. So I don't want to use poo water for spells, but I knew that I felt like I missed out on a lot, and there was.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I did too, because I was so worried. I sat here at this table with my son and my daughter-in-law playing cards and drinking, and then like watching out the window.
Yeah.
And there was a tree out in the distance that was sort of like the lighthouse, and I would watch how it would bend and twist and all this stuff. Was like,
It's
and
a
all the
common-
noises.
Yeah.
So I didn't do anything either. I missed an opportunity there. I agree.
I did this.
Well, I think it's tough when you're in situations where there are opportunities, and yet you're really thinking about, people are losing their lives, their homes, like everything. And it was weird to kind of be in two places at once. My witch mind was going, you could collect this super powerful water. You could have this thing. And on the other side was like, oh my God, people are literally dying in this right now. Like their houses are being washed out. Animals, like just all of that.
That brings me back
I'm
to
going too far.
no,
okay.
no, it brought me back to Salem, which they have the oldest cemetery in the United States in Salem.
Yeah.
And here I am under the fence collecting dirt like a weirdo.
Which is illegal.
It's
So we're just
illegal.
not, we're not that popular on YouTube yet, so we're not afraid to say it. It's fine.
Listen,
Nobody's gonna hear about it.
I don't ask permission first. I ask for forgiveness later.
So,
But yeah, I'm
Things
over here
we've done.
scooping up the graveyard dirt, you know.
Yeah, and still have it. don't
Still
you?
have it. I'm
Still
waiting.
have it.
I'm waiting to use it.
So I grabbed an apple for my fruit basket because if you slice this apple like this and then you look at it, there's a star in it.
The pentagram.
And then what I would do with this is what I would actually do with this is cut it in those, slice it this way so that you see the stars and then sprinkle it with cinnamon for the intentions of it and then eat it as sort of like a I don't know.
An intention snack.
Yeah, an intentional snack and say something witchy about it. So I think I'm sure that apples have magical properties and I know that the star in it.
Harvest.
Yeah, so whatever you can think about for an apple, but what I love about it is when you slice it, you see the star and then you put cinnamon on it and it's really tasty. And it's also like super magical,
Yeah.
I feel like.
And healthy.
The apple has a long history in humanity. When I think about an apple,
Oh boy.
I just think about how they use that poor thing with a woman to just change some shit. So
Just don't.
I'm just saying,
I was so confused for a minute. I was like, they did what to a woman?
a woman, an apple, and a snake walk into a garden. That's the beginning of a good witch joke.
We'll have to
Just
finish
saying.
that later.
I know. All right, I picked up one of my items. So you guys are gonna see my total Virgo rising here, but this is a washcloth cleaning rag from my mom's cleaning closets. And it is red, which is not my favorite color. Mine would be blue or purple. But when I clean my house, the colors of rags that I choose are really intentional because as I clean and I do not do motions like this, which are clockwise in building something. I actually do counterclockwise, which is to erase things. I clean the surfaces in thinking about that I am clearing the energy off that space so that new energy can come in and more things can be built. So my weird habit is using my colorful washcloths during cleaning. And I'm even particular about the colors of my cleaner. Like
Oh boy, come on.
it gets weird for me. Sorry. I
She's
love
weird.
it. Virgo.
I can't
dang.
believe we forgot one of the most important things.
What?
A freaking broom.
I mean,
A freaking broom. Come on, everybody has a broom. right?
Rooms.
Well, we don't have
once
any
a month,
candles
go through
either.
your house, sweep away any negativity,
That's right. Yeah.
any stagnant energy.
And it doesn't have to be a special Psalm broom and made and
No.
thought for $300 by broom makers. That's awesome. If
Don't
you
buy
can.
into that.
No, I mean, I don't know. One
I
thing
do
I'm
like
buying-
to have two brooms though. I have one broom that's like for cleaning nasty stuff, and then another broom that's kind of like a dusting broom.
Yeah.
So I use like the dusting broom to do it. But you can also mop
Yep.
with certain oils and
You can add stuff to your cleaners.
even charged water.
Yep.
You know,
Yep. Another thing to
Um,
use the moon water for.
wiping down your door frames
Yeah.
with your special color rag.
Colors matter. They don't make enough purple cleaning rags. I'm just here to tell you guys that because that is my favorite and it's very hard to find. All right, so that was my item. Oh, next. Okay, I know this is cats, so
So basil, which
okay, it just smells so good.
which
And it's totally unplanned.
Oh,
Where's
sorry about that.
I just bought this little guy and I'm gonna put him in a pot and keep him growing because I actually love basil. And right at this moment, I cannot remember what the magical properties of basil are.
Yes, okay.
Prosperity? Okay, I was gonna
Prosperity,
say
protection.
protection. I was gonna say protection.
Yep, both prosperity
That's-
protection.
Herbs, stones, colors, elements, they all have multiple purposes. Don't ever get stuck thinking that it's just one purpose. It's not. Also nutritious, okay?
It's
I was
also a
gonna make
snack.
Caprese tonight.
It's a
but I did
snack.
not. All right, so also I went to my cabinet and I got garlic powder. And I think of this as like a warding off or something like
The vampires. Oh, wait, wrong podcast.
Wait, bad people, like you want to get something out of your life. So, this is not only, well, I made something recently. I made some potatoes and I used a lot of garlic on them and those things were hot. Okay, so transformation.
Yep. It
You
can be a
know,
fire.
fire, it
Yeah.
can be fire, and it can also be like protection because it's like nobody wants to get next to you when you've eaten a bunch of garlic. You're like, it's kind of like we're
She whole Khaleesi dragon it.
so it's just plain
Love
like
that.
Lowry's garlic powder. So just think when you like want to banish something from your life.
Yeah, like your boyfriend, just dump it on him. Just dump the whole thing on him, girl. He'll be gone in no time.
Eat a lot of it and he'll definitely be gone.
All right. For me, so they're talking about like protection and banishing and stuff, right? But garlic is a really good blood purifier. So I actually think of garlic as a purification thing where it helps. It's a cleanser. It cleanses things out of your body, but it purifies your body from the toxins. Say that for me in English, somebody. It helps get toxins out of your body, so it's a purifier. I feel like I said that.
You
okay.
said that correctly.
The first time, maybe. I love the smell of garlic.
I love garlic.
All right, my last thing, I think I'm the last one. We did all the other things, unless you were going to do sage.
We
No.
don't have to do sage.
Okay, you guys, here is my crazy little magical intention all the time that nobody would ever guess. And I've always wanted to do like an elaborate video or TikTok or freaking reel or short or whatever they're all called. But
TikTok.
TikToks,
A
shorts,
Tic Tac.
reels. Every platform has their own little 30-second name for stuff. But one of the things that I do for myself almost on a daily, it's not every day, but almost on a daily, is I use teas. So I drink coffee in the morning and then I drink tea in the afternoon. And I still like tea with caffeine in the afternoon because I'm an addict and I am okay with that. Caffeine doesn't seem to affect me and I can drink
This
it.
is
Doesn't
also
matter.
an AA meeting, so if you guys are
Yes,
addicted to
it-
caffeine, please
Comment
get help.
below.
It's an AC meeting.
I'm okay with my addiction, but the flavors of tea, if you look on the back, they have the ingredients, and these are really just spices.
Mhm.
Your tea bag is a teeny tiny little spell bag, okay? I've always known this. I've always thought it. I think that it's crazy awesome,
Mhm.
but I have different teas that I know the feeling I'm trying to create for that day. I drink that tea, and that's how I choose my teas.
Suggestion, Sparkles. Suggestion.
Yes.
Your basil here, you can dry it out, write an intention on it,
Mhm.
throw it in your tea, your intention tea,
Intention
and then
tea.
just
Drink it. Ooh, drink rosemary tea. It's so good for you. It's so good for your health. I forgot. I did place this one on my thing. This is a big one though. This is the whole.
Well,
What is
this is something that I had around the
Oh,
house, but
that's
that I
not the-
actually,
It's not what I thought. It was. Don't skip
purchased,
it.
which is essential oils.
It's a whole little
So
thing.
it's
of
a whole
essential
little
oils.
kit that I
Yeah.
bought.
It smells
of-
amazing.
I don't know how many there are in here, but
It looks like 20.
wow. It's 16,
shoot, it's close.
because the 20 was like $40 and this one was, I don't know, $30. But essential oils, which
Adding them to stuff, putting them on your body. I thought it was the roller ones that we
The same
got.
way that I
Yeah.
told you guys about the rose oil and the love spell bath for myself, what was it?
Self-love ritual. bath.
Self-love ritual bath. Thank
Yes,
you.
You're welcome.
Things like that, so if you're feeling a certain way in a day, say you have a hard day ahead of you, and you have
I'm sorry. My dog is totally like, he's over there under the table going.
He's ears perked
He-
up
he's-
watching us like,
he
what's
is-
that?
he's on this meetup too, although you can't see him because he's not.
We'll get him a little screen so you guys can watch him.
Do be careful with any kind of oils
Don't
or essential
ingest them.
oils.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but sometimes they can make a rash on your body. So do be careful with them. I just want you to know, like, I don't know what I spent on this. This is called,
You said $30.
Laguna Moon. I actually don't remember, but Laguna Moon is the brand. It's very beautiful. They smell wonderful. I've yet to use them. So that tells you there when you buy shit and then it sits on a shelf and collects dust.
Where I
That you
was
don't
going
really
with
need,
the
that you
oils-
don't really need to buy it.
Where I was going with the oils was just dab a couple of things on you. Read the properties of them. And if you know you're gonna have a long day, if you know you're going for a job interview, if you know you're going on a first date, use them accordingly to things like that in just a couple of
Wait,
dabs.
which is the one that says
Setting
I
the
need to get
intention,
laid?
yes. Okay.
Oh, gosh, she's done.
Well, and where's your drink? Okay.
No, if you're going out and you want to attract people to you, like what is that essence? I guess it would depend.
It also is a smile and good conversation are important, but we can do essential oils as well. That wasn't a shun. Why did we do that? Anyway, what I was gonna say about the oils where she's like, I bought these and I haven't used them. This is another hashtag witch problem, right? We see the things, we're kind of like lured into believing, oh my gosh, if I'm a witch, I need that. Oh my gosh, all the witches have that. Oh, this is a thing. This is a tool. This is essential for my growth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
None
your
of that
stones.
is true. And I'm
Wanna go
hoping that in many ways, this meetup helps you guys understand that you do not need the items. They're fun and they're great and they can really help set the mood.
The one thing
But
we
you don't
do like to
need that.
spend money on.
Alcohol.
Well, we have a couple more things because Jamie went through our whole entire table, which I'm actually, you guys, I'm gonna post the picture that I took of this. So that you all can see it in this meetup tonight because
Oh, we have
it's really, but Jolene, I pulled a couple crystals so we could talk about those because the
We're gonna go
crystals
over-
are, go ahead. Are the earth, element of earth.
Mhm.
All right, so I'll let you talk.
I want to do a little Q&A, guys, a little trivia, because I know you guys like that.
Yeah,
What is amethyst typically kept around for? I was like, are they coming in that fast? That's you scrolling.
No,
Okay.
that's me.
I was like,
because
holy crap,
I was
everybody
wait,
knows.
wait,
Sleep,
Sleep.
yes, Teresa, absolutely.
Yeah.
Put an amethyst on your nightstand, or if you have a small one that's not going to poke you like this, you can place it under your pillow. It will help you sleep, help you have good dreams, things like that. Very good for that.
Psychic.
Healing.
Well,
So
it's
we also had Maggie say healing.
Yes.
Jenny said anxiety and calming. Yes, girl.
Absolutely.
Yes. And then stress. Yes, absolutely.
well, and also,
Lavender tea.
believe it or not, purple is the color of the third eye. So it's like your third eye chakra and your psychic abilities.
Lay
So
in bed and
I,
put it on your
so
forehead
I like to
this.
sleep with it next to my bed because I want to have those dreams. It's like, I want to open that up. I want to open my connection to that spiritual world.
Also, I don't know if anybody else does this, but we have, I don't think we do it much anymore, but putting crystals in your bra or your pocket or your underwear
Yeah.
or wherever you want it,
Yeah.
carrying those around with you all day to
Listen, this just happened to me the other day. I forgot that I put kyanite in my bra, and kyanite is a very soft, flaky, it's not a stone you really should put there, but I felt like I really needed it that day. And all of a sudden out of nowhere, I thought something was biting me in my side boob, and I was like, ah! And I pulled out the kyanite, and I was like, oh, I forgot you were there. Okay, thanks for reminding me. So it does happen. Tourmaline is also not a great one to put in the bra, but when we put them on our bodies or in our pockets, accidentally washing them, it's happened to the best of
Teresa,
us.
thank you for that clarification. I misspoke.
What?
Third eye versus chakra or third eye
Yes.
versus,
So you've got
third
violet,
eye.
indigo. It is.
okay.
Yeah, it's
What's the very top
crown.
one?
This is crown.
Crown chakra.
Third eye. It's muted.
Well, this is the
It's
highest
muted.
level. So this is
Crown.
right. The crown is
higher.
your closest connection
Yeah.
to spiritual, to
Yeah.
spirit.
Third eye is it. It's a tough
Psychic abilities.
difference. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So Jolene has another stone.
even.
It's
This
difficult
is
to
one of my
see.
favorite ones just because I love the
You gotta get way
flash.
closer
Well,
in the
Give me
light.
a second on word.
Okay. All right. Get
Okay,
it in
I'm
the
trying
light.
to
Where's the
flash it.
flash?
What is the stone? Who can name that? Name that stone.
Name that stone.
Name that stone. Jolene's not gonna say it until you name it, but what are you
You
gonna?
didn't get the flash yet.
I'm
I'm quiet.
well,
No.
here, then you get it. I can't get it.
Okay. Well, where is the flash, mommy? It's at
The
the top.
what?
The
Does
flash.
anybody know this stone?
Okay.
Yeah, so you're doing a
That
terrible.
just looks black.
Yeah, exactly. No, mine looks.
So name that
There's
stone if you can.
It's like a tiny flash of blue. All right.
All right,
Anybody?
so Jolene's gonna tell you what it's
It's
about. She's gonna
Maybe
tell
it's
you about the
not.
stone while we look for your answers
No.
from what's that stone?
Sister's gonna tell you about it.
Labradorite. Oh my gosh, you guys.
You were supposed to name it. You just gave it away.
We just said that. Oh,
Sorry.
shit.
It's labradorite,
Okay.
guys.
It's labradorite.
It's labradorite. All right. So labradorite's awesome, and it's a stone used in a lot of magical intention. It actually brings about the ability to do magic. That's the main stone. That's the main stone I use. When I do card readings for people, that's the stone closest to me. Thank you, Tracy. Yours is beautiful. See, yours looks like it's flashing more, but it's so hard with the reflection.
I think
Oh,
on
see,
camera,
blue. Yeah, it is. It's hard with the reflection.
Labradorite's one of my favorites.
We're gonna have to do some pictures. Anybody want to upload pictures of their labradorite to the Facebook group or wherever you guys want to load it up? But labradorite is definitely one of my favorite stones, and it has to be cut perfectly because it's sort of like tiger's eye, where the iridescence is inside the stone, and it has to be cut in an appropriate way. Joellen's trying to show. Oh, Joellen, I saw yours for a second. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I can see the green
Yeah,
in it,
it's a
yeah.
little- yeah.
Flash.
As that reflection comes across it. So what I use labradorite for is channeling my magic, which I know that I'm connecting with my team of light. And when I do card readings, that's the thing closest to me because it brings down my ego. I don't want to be human minded when I'm in these readings. I really want to tap into my spiritual self. So that's what labradorite means for me. It's a magical stone, like for magical workings.
Anybody know this guy?
Oh, look at it. It turns like glowy white. Okay, it's in the shape that everybody knows it by. I mean, this is like, oh shoot. I have 18 messages. Okay. I'm
So
sorry.
people were naming
Okay,
it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
You guys
I'm so
were
sorry.
naming it.
Of course, yes.
Selenite.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
500 so
Sorry, guys. Here I was
Selenite.
thinking nobody was answering for the labradorite. You guys were.
Satin spar.
Satin spar, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't get it wet. Correct. Yeah. There
Ooh.
are some crystals that you cannot get wet.
Should not.
And there are some that you don't really want to put out in the sunlight either, like your
True.
amethyst. You don't want to put
It's a
that in the
tree,
sunlight.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a train. It'll
Definitely
lose its
do your
color.
research on them before you expose them to.
So I love that everybody knows that this is selenite. Do you guys know what the properties of selenite is? You guys like the trivia questions? Let's see.
Charging,
Charging,
cleansing.
cleansing,
Yes.
cord
Cord
cutting.
cutting.
I was gonna say
I-
amplification.
I haven't heard of cord cutting with that. That's awesome.
Purification.
Yeah.
Selenite, I
And
feel like
protection.
selenite is like a good all-around stone, almost like quartz.
Yeah.
What I think of when I have selenite around is almost like a channel from me to the spiritual realm.
That's what I say.
That's what I think of it as, is this like big bright light that goes up to my spiritual team. And just all the energy from them comes through that. So a lot of times if I'm doing meditation or reading my cards, selenite will be close for sure.
You guys, for me, the physical representation that selenite is in. So selenite is named after Selene, the moon goddess, and it is supposed to be physical moonbeams shining down. Like that's what selenite is, right? So for me, like my sister Jolene, it is what I physically see is my connection to the other realm. It looks like that. And it is my connection with the moon and all things intuitive, goddess, inner, like this is, if I could shine this from my heart chakra, even though my heart chakra is supposed to be green, it would be selenite, like beams going everywhere. The iridescence of it, the reflection, the multiple refractions, the whole thing, the iridescence of it. I mean, there's not, you know what selenite is? It's the model on Instagram that doesn't have a bad angle. No matter what angle you hold this guy at, it's always good. Like it doesn't ever look bad. It's always glowing, beautiful, has character.
That's an
Yeah.
interesting comparison. Damn Instagram models. On
Yeah,
perfect.
Instagram model. Never bad leg with that one. Has the perfect pose every
Must be
time.
nice.
All right, so I think we got through everything that we pulled from
Yes.
around my house in about 15 minutes, because we all went around the house looking for things that we could put together on the table and show you.
Yes.
So we would encourage you to do the same thing, to look around your house, like, what do you see?
What's
And
the-
what element is it? And how can you relate it to a spell that you might do or an intention that you might have? All right.
Yes.
Can you scroll up to that message right there, right about, I want to see you said that, Amy. I have a tower like that is carved out in the bottom and has a little light in it.
Yeah.
Yes, so also sister here, Jamie has a selenite wand that she uses that has intentions engraved in it that she did herself.
Mhm.
And so this is her
It's one of my wands.
yeah,
So-
it's her main.
So
One of
selenite
her main
is soft enough that you
Yes.
can do that.
You can carve sigils into it,
Yeah.
anything, ruins, somebody's
And even though you saw,
Runs.
even
ruins.
though you saw
Don't
a
get
tower,
Western
there are
camera.
available kinds of shapes, flat and stuff, so that you can easily carve into them.
Yeah.
They
So, and
slay
selenite
down.
is readily available.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like clear crystal quartz. You can
Mhm.
find it everywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Even
right
TJ
now,
Maxx.
so now that
Especially
we're done with our show and
Share.
share and tell,
Share and tell.
we're gonna
Share and
move on
tell.
to 10 workhorse crystals. Jamie, can you show us the book that we pulled this from? Because right now we're coming up on 8 o'clock, or it is 8 o'clock.
We're gonna
and
get
we
into
need-
reference stuff.
And we need to get through this quickly so that you guys have an opportunity to ask us questions. So your 10 work, okay, if you're a beginner and like we were saying a minute ago, please don't go out and spend a bunch of money. You don't need to do that. You have what you need around you. But if you're like the rest of us who love crystals, or so many of us, I should say, so many of us who love crystals, here are 10 crystals for you to add to your collection. All right. They cover a lot of different things, and basically they'll cover everything that you need to do a spell or create an intention or whatever. Here you go.
I'm sorry, will you please mention the 2 categories that crystals go into?
Okay. So I'm going to put them into categories. So these are, we've got 10 here. These are the crystals that amplify your intentions.
Amplifiers. Yes.
Amplifiers. Amethyst. Citrine. Clear quartz. Rose quartz. And smoky quartz. Those are your amplifying crystals, which means whatever you're doing, they make it stronger. So again, it's amethyst, citrine, clear quartz, rose quartz, and smoky quartz.
I just want to add in that by amplifiers, it means that when you set your intention for the stone, if you put another stone next to it, so say labradorite is not a quartz type stone, it's made differently. If you want to amplify the properties of your labradorite or your selenite, you put a quartz next to it, and that can be rose quartz for love, smoky quartz for expelling negative energy and bringing in positive. Clear quartz is just a amplifier of whatever it's next to. That's how you use these workhorse stones that are readily available, not expensive, get them anywhere. And you can put them next to some rare stones. So when you see rare stones that are massive and $400 or $500, you're like, oh, I wish. Until you get to that level, you can use quartz, which is a readily available, less expensive crystal, next to smaller elements of a crystal that you want to create big change in your life, whatever that looks like.
Thank you.
That's
for
the amplifier.
Thank you
ones.
for explaining that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next stones are these absorb. So do you want to explain absorb?
When we have a space that has energy in it that we don't intend for it to have, so as amplifiers are helping our intentions push forward, absorbers are bringing out, they're collecting the energy that we actually don't want there. So that's what an absorber is. It's trying to take away the things that you're not intending to be in your space. toxic work environments is probably the number one thing that I talk to witches about. A lot of people have to try to survive in toxic work environments. Not usually as much toxic relationships, but sometimes with family, with home situations, with roommate situations that they just can't get out of. These are absorbers of that negative, very destructive energy that weighs on us. You put the crystals around you so that they have the impact and not your psyche. That's
Well-
what the absorbers are.
Well, and anymore, I think we can go out into social situations and realize that there's a lot of negativity and toxicity in the world. And so I know I personally used to carry around black tourmaline in my pocket just to absorb the energy around me as I went out into the world, did my shopping, went to eat or whatever. But so I think it's something really beneficial. So here's your absorbing workhorse crystals. Black tourmaline, clear quartz, rose quartz, and I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong one. Black tourmaline, carnelian, which is
orange
yellow,
is red.
orange is red.
Yeah,
Okay.
orange is red.
fluorite, which I just love, and I
Love
don't
fluorite.
have, I
So
do not have,
beautiful.
but fluorite, it's green.
Fluorite comes in beautiful shapes, you guys. It is, as it builds as a crystal, it has a
It's more-
diamond shape, like it's literally
Square.
it's so
And
cool.
it's a little more expensive than some of the other quartz.
Especially
that
in
I've
raw.
seen. The fluorite is, but if you can just get a small piece of it, remember that you can amplify it with a quartz crystal. Okay, so black tourmaline, carnelian, fluorite, hematite, and turquoise. And I love turquoise. So those are your absorbing crystals. So those 10 crystals, if that's all that you have, and you don't need big pieces of, you don't need to spend $500 on crystals.
But we won't be mad if you do.
Each year I buy more and more expensive crystals. I can't lie. Just recently when we were up in Tampa for the Taylor Swift concert. Okay, sorry, love her.
Swiftie, hello.
Swifties right here. There's a shop in Tampa that they do have crystals there for such a decent price. And that's an hour and 15 minutes from me. And I drive up there. And when I go there, I buy the crystals. So I just got a $75 labradorite. And that thing is sitting within my health well of my house.
And it's,
But the blue on that,
it's probably
it's-
twice this
I
tall.
mean,
So it's a big hefty guy
I'll
for
put it
75
on the-
bucks. That's
yeah.
a good
Well,
deal.
that was a
Man.
gift from you. This
It
was a
was.
gift from my daughter.
Which I got at that store.
yeah, which that's the only,
This is
This
where I
is
got it.
Jolene gave me this labradorite as a
there's
gift.
not a
we
lot of
sure
places
did.
that sell stones in our area. So we have to travel kind of far. And you guys might be in that same position where it takes you a while to find a store that has actually decent prices because I don't know. the people
Everything's
that-
gotten stupidly
It's
expensive.
just
Also, I know
they
some,
price gouging stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know sometimes people have the question of like, how do you know if it's real or not? They've done a really good job at making fake stones, if you will. One way to tell is if it feels cold to the touch. Something that, well, most stones,
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I didn't know that tip, but I know for quartz.
yeah,
Definitely.
no, I mean, fill the
Well,
labradorite.
that's
Yeah.
cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any
it's
stone
I
cold.
that
haven't
you-
felt too many fake stones, maybe, but
It's cold.
It's one way to tell.
And
if
it's been sitting in my
A
house for a
lab-
long time.
do you mean lab produced like that?
Correct.
Yeah.
Lab produced.
A lab produced
or
stone versus a
Not lab, no, because,
not lab?
no,
No.
no, I mean like fake as in plastic or glass.
Oh.
Well, if you're
they-
buying online, you
oh.
really need to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So read the descriptions.
But if
through.
you're out and about and you see a big stone that you think, I'm not sure if this is real or not, touch it. If it's cold to the touch, it's probably real. Glass, plastic, they absorb heat. Stones don't.
Very good.
Turquoise
Witch
is
tips-
famous for
witch
that.
Tip 101.
Which tip, one
Yeah.
or two?
Turquoise, people selling turquoise and now Larimar.
Larimar,
It's
yeah.
that's very popular because people know how rare it is or how turquoise is an expensive stone. If you're buying cheap turquoise, you're not getting it. You're getting dyed howlite most likely.
Correct.
But
Yeah,
it's just the thing to
Yeah.
understand when you're buying stuff. I rarely buy stones online. Rarely.
I have,
Rock
I
cloud.
can't say I'm impressed by the quality. I definitely feel like it's the like the leftover shake, if you will, from what they produce. They produce something really big,
Yeah.
and then you could just get like the leftover crumbles of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I found a really good online on Etsy.
Yeah,
Did I say that
Etsy
right,
is a
finally?
trustable source in my personal
And
opinion.
actually they're local. They're like an hour away from me and it took them like 2 weeks to ship it. But so check out your sources, make sure they're legit,
Read
read
your
the
reviews.
Read reviews.
Amazon's probably not the place, but unless you got lots of reviews.
Okay.
Okay.
If anybody is looking for an actual Amazon place, because there is just one store on Amazon
Yeah,
that I buy
For
from,
sure.
and I actually feel weird telling you guys this.
You're about to get the inside.
That's just, I don't even know. But for my wedding, you guys, I wanted amethyst like everywhere, and I bought
A shit ton.
a lot of amethyst,
A shitload.
just a lot.
Just a shitload. A
And I
whole
needed
bunch of
it from a source that would ship in bulk. So I bought bulk amethyst from them. And then after I got this, I was like, oh man, they do a good job. And I bought other stones from them. Anyways,
We can put the link somewhere for you.
my name is Rock Cloud.
Write it
I
down.
don't think
Rock
there's
Cloud.
another like anything that's close to it, but Rock Cloud is the only rock crystal supplier that I've bought from Amazon, and I've never been disappointed. And I used it in my wedding, and it's been great so far.
And they
Well,
kept
that was
their
like
color.
5 years ago. Is it still
I still
legit?
buy
and
from
they-
them, yeah.
Okay.
And they have kept their colors.
Good to know. Rock
Yeah.
Color.
All of my amethyst, I've bought amethyst, citrine. I've bought many tumbled stones from them because I use my tumbled stones in spell work. So I also like to give away stones. So I buy tumbled stones, and then I'm like, when I have people over or something, I'm just like, oh, I feel like you need this stone here, take it.
Yeah.
So I also do that with them. And Rock Cloud is the only person that I've bought from that's consistently provided really good stones. And their
For a decent
reviews,
price,
their
yeah.
reviews are great, right? For a reasonable market
Mhm.
price. And I don't have any affiliation with them or anything. So this is weird because I guess this is going on YouTube.
Are you going to be an ambassador?
It's just, no, they don't even know me. They don't know me.
They're
They
going
have
to
no
now.
idea.
So
I'm
that-
calling them tomorrow.
It's just a thing. It's a reputable place. Like I feel
Yeah.
like they've done well.
We
Sorry.
vouch for them.
She's
So,
tapping me. I'm
so
getting
that,
upset.
so that was a tip that
It's a
you
tip.
were not, that you're not gonna get anywhere else, because we did not
Probably
even
not.
know that was coming.
No.
All right, at this point,
Okay.
I'm sorry,
Yes,
we
rock
kept
cloud.
we
Yeah.
kept you beyond the 1 hour time.
We gotta get
So
it.
the next part, we're gonna go through very
Thank you,
quickly.
Ryan.
We're
Ryan
gonna
posted
go,
the link.
Ryan found the
Sorry.
rock cloud.
Yeah, thank you.
all right, so very quickly, so we've wrapped up our session. Hope you've enjoyed it, but now we're on the point where we're gonna give you your exercises, because what would a class be without homework, right? All right,
Work,
so
which is
So
work.
here's your homework. Take an inventory of any crystals you own. Write down their uses and properties in your book of shadows. If you can, print a color picture of each and add them to the page to help you in identification. Because you won't need them today. You might not need them next month, but a year from now, you might come across them, just like, all these things that we've showed you. So do that part, because it's to your benefit to have it there. All right.
And also it's a
Like-
fun thing to show your friends.
And
Your witch
and
friends,
it's-
if they come
and
over, you're like, look
you
at
know
my-
what, it's part of your growth as a new witch. So you're like adding things, you're constantly, it's like, as a witch, you're collecting. All right, next thing, plan ahead. Grow your crystal collection based on your needs for the coming year. Jamie just gave you an awesome resource on Amazon, which is like, I don't know, shopping space #1. But you can also do your own research if a place comes to town, or if you know somebody. But anyway, build your crystal collection. Again, we gave you 10 workhorse crystals. We gave you a book for reference, which is Crystals for Beginners.
Crystals for beginners.
There's also a crystal Bible.
All 3 of them.
Why? Why did she do
Okay.
that?
Because I knew it was coming.
Yeah.
And you know what? You don't have to buy the books brand new. If you go to used book sites, you might be able to find these books for $7 or $5. Just
I've literally
use-
found some of them at Goodwill.
Yeah,
FYI.
Goodwill.
Yeah.
Look
So,
at all the books at Goodwill.
one of the sites that I like is called Alibris, ALIBRIS, which I think is like something library. But there's lots of used bookstores. So don't buy stuff new, you guys. You don't need to spend that much money. Okay, next thing. Identify plants that grow in your yard or near your home and research their magical properties. So wherever you live, you probably have things that are unique to your region. learn about them and put these in your book of shadows. All right, journaling. Reflect on the following and write these in your book of shadows. And I'm sorry if I'm going really fast, but I want to give you guys time to ask questions. So please think of your questions, raise your hands because Q&A is going to start in like 2 minutes.
First of all, somebody said earlier that they like that you go fast.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Sometimes I talk to them.
Like it.
Okay, journaling. Reflect on the following questions and write these in your book of shadows. What area of magic ingredients, herbs, plants, oils, crystals, colors for correspondences, or something else interests you most and why? What are your plans to increase your knowledge and experience with your favorite magic ingredient or ingredients? And then we have some book recommendations, which are crystals for beginners. You said, what was your
The
other one?
Crystal Bible that was like my first go-to when it came to crystals. They have literally there's three
now.
There's
three now.
So, crystals I've never even heard or seen of yet. There you go, Amy. Yep. Amazing
Have
book,
the same one.
little dictionary of crystals and their meanings.
Listen, we need references. As witches, we need references.
Yeah.
It's like it's our.
I'm going to bring this back around to, we have these books, but we should be creating our own books of things that we use, that we like, that we want.
That's it.
That is what our grimoire, or if you want your book of shadows to be, it is our references all put in one place of the things that we have. So when you go into books that people have written, it's all of the things. Sometimes we don't want to flip through all the things. Sometimes we just need our page of like, here's the 12 crystals I have. Let me make a spell from that. Let me do some working for that. And
or
it's just
here's
helpful.
where I am in my life, and these are the things that resonate with me right now. 5 years from now, that could be different, and you might need to go back to those books, which is why it's great to have them as a reference. But don't ever feel like you need to go out and spend a bunch of money to do witchcraft, because you don't. No. So very quickly, so we have crystals for beginners.
Yep, we already put that up.
The Crystal Bible, which we don't have here.
Well, you don't have one?
I don't have the Crystal Bible.
I didn't bring it. It's at my
Spell
house.
book for new witches, which Jamie's gonna hold up.
I do, you guys, I don't recommend books too often, but I do feel like her writings and everything that she begins with is so just easy. It's just easy. Now her spells do require some random dumb shit that I don't necessarily like, but you know, depending on where you live, maybe that's really popular there. I'm like, well, I'll just find a replacement for that. But I love the first half of her book and how she describes stuff. She has great correspondence tables, very easy, very, very easy. I do like this book a lot.
Okay.
Can I just piggyback off of that really quick?
Sure.
The random shit thing, because tell you what, one time I had a spell and I ran around the whole freaking day to all the supermarkets, to all the metaphysical stores looking for this one fucking herb.
Orange bergamot.
Yeah.
I remember orange bergamot because I have the oil, and she was like, how the f- do you get orange bergamot? I was like, oh my gosh, that's literally just like, the lady made it sound so complicated. It's literally just orange essence. Like, it's really not that bad.
Yeah, so you can Google if you have an herb that you know is not easily obtainable in your local grocery store.
We live in Florida where oranges grow. That's screwed up, right? Like, let me tell you. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
just Google what could be used.
Alternatives.
Yeah, exactly.
Which brings us to one of my most awesome, most referenced, most diehard books.
Closer.
Oh, okay.
Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs.
Yes.
So this probably cost me like $15 or something. I think I bought it used.
You bought it used for 15?
Maybe, I don't know. It wasn't. Listen, I don't spend $40 or $50 on a book. No way. I'm waiting till that thing goes on sale. So Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs is a great reference. And then the last thing is the Witch's Date book, which I didn't buy.
She didn't buy it this year.
I did not buy for
Tracy's about to get it. Tracy's
gonna get
Tracy.
all right.
Yes,
Listen,
yes.
I want this on my Christmas list for next year. You need to buy it for everybody.
Usually gives me and my mom a present for Christmas, and this is
If you wait until the end of January, you can get it for half price on Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
if they have any more left.
as Tracy is showing, The only one that I couldn't get you guys was 2020, the year of COVID.
Yeah.
It's the hardest book to get. They stopped printing. The whole thing
Yeah.
went to shit, as you can imagine. But all of
Such
the
an
other books,
amazing.
their whole first like 30 pages is references. It's the same breakdown every year, and then they give you correspondences throughout the year for every single day. They mark all the holidays, the big lunar,
They
solar
list lots of
events.
stuff, herbs,
everything.
crystals,
Oh, everything.
colors of the
It's-
day.
Yeah.
It's
so
one
fun.
book. If you're like brand new to witchcraft
Yeah.
and there's one book you want to start with, that's the book.
So fun.
It's
Such
just
fun.
so much stuff to get you started and ask questions about, because
Engaging.
it's like, oh, well, what's that? Ooh, let me look at that. Let me go to this. Best book.
Yeah,
That's
for
happy.
sure.
Thank you for joining us for week 8.
Oh,
Of
geez,
the
you
new
guys
witch.
stumble on that every
Listen,
time.
no.
Every time, you guys.
All right.
You really got to get it together.
That didn't work at all.
No.
Okay.
Terrible job. Terrible. Try
Thank
again.
you for joining us for week 8 in the Beginner Witch series, where we discussed the magical properties of everyday items. And we hope to see you next week on Monday, where we'll discuss whatever we're going to discuss.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Thank you for joining us.